Hi everyone, welcome back to PMP Practice Question Time. A great way to start your morning as you prepare for the PMP exam, and I know you can pass the PMP exam with some great practice like this and some good study every single day. We've got 5 questions. I'm going to go through them for the first time as well. We'll solve them together, and let's get into the first one. The first question: your project sponsor has asked for an update so she can advise her executive team on the project progress. Okay, this is excellent. What will you tell her if your project has an earned value of 98,000? Okay, so we've earned 98,000. A planned value of 90,000. Okay, so we've delivered more at 98,000 is our earned value. We've delivered more than what we had planned, so that's good. We're ahead of our schedule, I think that means. And an actual cost of 85,000. So actual cost is the cost, yeah. So the cost is 80, and 90,000 is more than 85,000. So what that means is we're ahead of schedule because we've delivered more, and we're under, the budget is under what we had planned to deliver as well, planned to spend. So we're under budget and over and ahead of schedule. Okay, gosh, that's a bit of a mouthful. So what are our options here? We're not behind schedule, no. We're ahead of planned schedule, and we're not over budget, no. Behind planned schedule, no, we're not that either. So we're ahead of our planned schedule because we've delivered more, and we are under the budget because the actual cost is less than what we had planned. So let's go with the letter A for now. Answer A. The planned value is $90,000. Actual cost is 85. We're under budget. We've delivered $98,000 worth of value, our earned value, which is more than our 90,000 planned. How did you go? Let's look at question 2. Question 2, the estimate at completion is the forecast cost of the project once finished. Your project has a budget of 100,000 and 30% of the work has been completed. So earned value is 30,000. So 30% of 100,000. Against 40% planned. Our planned value is 40,000, okay? You've spent $40,000 so far. That's our actual cost. Okay, I've just got to remember the formula for this one, the estimate at completion. It's the actual cost plus the budget at completion minus earned value, I think, is the most simple formula for the estimate at completion. Now there are different ways to do this depending on whether you're including the cost performance index or that sort of thing. But if it's going to be accomplished at the planned rate, so the rate we'd actually planned, and if we look at this as well, so we've got actual cost is 40,000. Our earned value is 30,000. So there's 10,000 difference there basically. And but we're not taking that into consideration in the future rate. So we could pretty much take that 10,000 and say that would be the difference. So if we've got a $100,000 budget, we're not going to be less 10,000. We're going to be more 10,000 because we're currently behind. So it's probably going to be our letter D here. But if we do the calculation as well, actual cost, so 40,000 plus 100,000 minus 30,000, so plus 70,000 is 110,000 as well. So that's another way to figure it out. That's the actual formula. But we could also have a bit of a guess based on that current planned rate and just being behind by $10,000. So let's go with letter D for now and see how we go. Answer D, excellent. And there's our formula there. 40 plus 100 minus 30, which is 70. Equals 110,000 for now. That's great. Question 2, how did you go? Let's look at question 3 now, our last 3 to go. You've gathered the requirements for and scope for your project, broken them down into work packages for your project teams. Oh, this is great. And then into activities that need to be completed and scheduled. Fantastic. What will you use to find the minimum duration for your project and any flexibility you have between activities? Flexibility here, we're talking about the float for your project schedule, basically. And to figure out that float, we usually use the critical path method. So let's see if any of those match up with what we're looking for here. Qualitative analysis, no, more done with risk usually. Resource leveling, definitely a scheduling technique, but not for calculating float. Variance analysis is more for calculating differences in the schedule. So let's go with our critical path. That's definitely where we figure out the float of our project. Let's go with letter B. Answer B. Critical path method is used to find the minimum total duration of the project by finding the longest sequence of tasks that must be completed. And this is actually a really interesting thing as well. So any sequence of tasks that can't be moved or shifted, whichever longest one, longest sequence of tasks is the shortest duration that you could possibly complete your project in. So it's a bit of a paradox there in some ways, but yeah, that's a good thing to know. And other paths that might only have 3 tasks on them, for example here, there might be some wiggle room. They can go that way or that way, and that's called the float in the project schedule. How did you go? Last 2 questions. Let's look at question 4. Question 4, you're in charge of a new building project where the project plan is in place and currently in progress. Okay, great. A critical concreting task is coming up in the next 3 months. Your company employs concreters. Excellent, so potentially under our control in this situation, which is good. They do this kind of work. When asking them about their availability, they do not wish to commit and cannot give a straight answer. Okay, and of course, this is the kind of thing that happens quite often. In a project, we've got people and different people with different needs, and of course, we have to be coordinating all of these things all of the time. So what should we do next? Review the project milestone list and put concreting later in the project. Look, that's not going to solve the problem. So, probably let's not do that for now. Review the issue register and raise the lack of resources in the issue log. Definitely we've got gaps there. Potentially, maybe. Review the project scope and remove concreting for now to avoid the conflict. Avoiding the conflict is never usually the solution in the project management body of knowledge. It's usually a direct and collaborative approach. So I would probably not go with avoiding at all for now. Let's look at the last one. Review the project resource calendars. This seems promising. Regarding their availability, excellent. And then have the right conversation with their leader to bring them on board at the right time. This is a direct approach, it's a collaborative approach, and we're looking at that actual plan there within our control, within our organization, so they should be part of the resource calendars. I think answer D is probably going to be our best bet for this particular one. Answer D, excellent. Resource calendars provide information regarding availability of resources and also the duration of their availability. So referring to this document would be the first course of action. Excellent. Last question, guys. Doing great. Let's have a look. You're working through the project schedule for your project, and after gathering the requirements, scope, and breaking them down into work packages and then activities. Wonderful. Now you need to estimate how long each activity is going to take so you can place them in your Gantt chart. Okay, this is great news. Gantt chart being that little bar chart that we use for our project schedule. What should we do next? Okay, use our best guess for each estimate and estimate each activity so that you can complete your Gantt chart quickly. Probably guessing. Let's not go with guessing. I don't think that's a good option here. Involve people who will be doing the work to get the estimates. Definitely expert judgment, from the project management body of knowledge is a good thing. Subject matter expertise, you might call it. Ask your boss to estimate. That way they will have to explain if it's wrong. Terrible idea, that one. Very funny though, I like it. Write down each activity without time buffers. It will look more accurate this way. Or we do often want to give ourselves a little bit of a buffer. Maybe it's a percentage buffer, and even that will relate to the cost as well. So you've got management reserves and that sort of thing that you can build in to the schedule and the cost of your project. So I probably wouldn't do it without buffers. We're probably going to want a little bit of a buffer there. So let's go. That leaves us with answer B. Great. Expert judgment from the people doing the work is a key component when estimating on work packages. After all, they will be completing those work packages and will have the best idea on how long it will take to complete. That's the last question. You have done fantastically. I absolutely believe that you can pass the PMP exam. Keep practicing and keep studying every single day. I really do believe in you and I know you can do it. I'll see you in the next videos, and bye for now.